Good evening and welcome to a probably anything but regular city council meeting. This is the Oak Harbor City Council regularly scheduled March 17th meeting. It is 6 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And I'd like to start with a couple of things.
First off, I want to say thanks to our staff and to our citizens this evening for understanding that we have a different look tonight. Obviously, the COVID-19 circumstance that the state and the world is under these days is I'll ask for a roll call here in just a few minutes, but to all that are participating, thank you for understanding our different agenda and our different process for this evening. So we begin our meetings with an invocation and a pledge of allegiance, and we have with us on telephone from the Oak Harbor Seventh-day Adventist Church, and I'll ask those that are here to join me to stand, and I'll invite them to stand for that, and then we'll follow that by my leading the Pledge of Allegiance. So, Pastor Scott.
All of them. And Father, I pray that as we are meeting in person out of COVID-19 virus,
Thank you, Pastor Scott. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we will begin tonight's meeting then with again, a thank you to City Council, and I'm going to ask for a roll call, and after we're finished with that, I'll ask you to please mute your calls until you're speaking. So we'll start off with our roll call, and Mayor Pro Tem Munns, Councilmember Heisen. Councilmember Heisen. Okay, Councilmember Servadius. Councilmember Watsinger. Councilmember Larson.
Councilmember Larson.
Councilmember Wiesner.
Councilmember Wiesner.
Present.
Councilmember Mack.
Present.
Okay, Councilmember Heisen. Okay, we'll show her absent at this time unless she calls in. So ask you then, councilors again, and Mayor Pro Tem, please mute your mics now, or your call until you're ready to speak. So we'll begin with approval of the agenda. And I guess that I guess we'll come back in a few minutes. Somebody remind me to excuse Councilmember Heisen if we need to do that. Then we'll see if she joins us here in the next few minutes. Under the approval of the agenda, the staff is recommending all in-person public comments be suspended, and have set up two alternative methods for the public to provide public comments. Citizens may submit their public comment via an online form accessible by clicking on the COVID-19 banner at the top of the city's webpage, or citizens can leave a voicemail with their public comment now by calling 360-279-4504. Please provide your comment before the item is discussed to allow ample time to receive your comment. So I would entertain a motion to suspend in-person public comment at this time.
Tim.
Okay, we got a motion by Mayor Pro Tem. And is that a second? Councilor Servatius, great, thank you. We have a motion and a second to suspend in-person public comments. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Joel Servatius approves.
Okay. So I think that was unanimous. We have, am I correct in assuming that we've got a unanimous? Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Staff is also recommending that we remove 4 items from tonight's agenda to move the items to a future meeting. And that would be, the first item is item number 2CI, the Planning Commission 2019 Annual Report. The second item that they're suggesting is to remove item number 5CI, which is a clean water facility status of construction punch list. Third item for removal from tonight's agenda is item number 10A, smoking in city parks ordinance discussion. And then finally, the fourth and final item for removal is hearing examiner professional services agreement review. So I would entertain a motion to remove those 4 staff recommended items from the agenda for discussion.
Joel Servatius move to remove the 3 items mentioned by the mayor.
4, okay, 4 items.
Sorry, Joel Servatius move to remove the 4 items mentioned by the mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Munn voices a second to remove those items for tonight's agenda.
Great. We got a motion by Councilor Servatius, a second by Mayor Pro Tem Munn to remove the 4 items that I just mentioned from the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bossinger, aye.
Larson, aye.
Mac, aye.
Munn's
Servatius,
aye.
Okay.
Wiesner, aye.
Okay, I think that's unanimous. We have a unanimous, passes unanimously. So I think then at this time, we will move to the, we actually will have a community presentation done telephonically. We have Oak Harbor Main Street Association Annual Report. Haley Stanford, Executive Director. Haley, are you with us this evening?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Do you want me to get started right now?
Yes, please.
All right. Well, this is Haley Sanford, the Executive Director for the Oak Harbor Main Street Association. I believe you guys all have the PowerPoint presentation in your packet as well. So if you want to flip through that with me, you can see some nifty new pictures we have. And I'll stop for questions at the end. If you have one immediately, just stop me and let me know. Initially, I want to start my presentation with a reminder of what exactly Main Street is and what the Main Street program is as a whole. We are a Washington State Main Street program, and that means that we operate on the 4-pillar system for revitalization that has been developed by National Main Street. And those are design, organization, or outreach, whatever you would like to call it, economic vitality, and promotions. In addition to that, being a Main Street community allows us to be a little bit unique in the way that we operate with our funding. So we are funded mainly through PUT donations and B&O tax dollars, in which contributors can receive tax credits for contributing to our program. So that is our big source of funding for all of these projects that we're going to talk about here right now. I'm going to go through committee by committee so you can get kind of a sense of what each committee does, how they work together, and then wrap up at the end with a little bit of information about what's next. So I'll start off with design. We've had a busy last 12 months. We've been working with the city team to put up downtown signs along Highway 20 and Beeksma Park. We hear from the merchants a lot of times that they'd like more people on 20 to know that they're just a few blocks away. And so we are very close to putting those signs up and making that happen. We've also been working with the team at the planning department to update the design review guidelines and the zoning. So some of that is still to come as well. In addition to that, we've put up a lot of informational plaques, some of them honoring the year that the construction was completed of the older buildings in the district. The final 9 should be hung hopefully next week. Not quite certain of that with what's going on currently. We also had a plaque that honored these really unique horse tie-up rings that are in the sidewalk outside of Purple Moon. So next time you're walking downtown, be sure to look down and see if you can find those and to learn a little bit more about what they are and all of that good stuff. And then in early 2019, the team at Main Street completed a Smith Park mural, which is on the Christ the King Church building, that should direct people up into the Gary Oak Grove. So we're really excited to publicize that even more for our downtown. Our next committee is organization or outreach. We use both terms pretty interchangeably. And this group also has been doing a lot. I came here in July and saw the need to revise some of these things like the employee handbook and some bylaws. We also moved our office into the Ernst building, which is right across the street from Harborside Village. We are up in the top floor of that building, and it allows us to expand as an organization and have things like a conference room and a little bit more privacy there for us. We've also been finding it super important to visit the other Main Street communities in the state and their leadership to learn about what they're doing that they're really proud of and how we might be able to utilize some of those tools or projects in our own. Next is economic vitality. That is a committee that is fairly new to us. We've just been working on getting that going again. We are in the process of launching a property owner committee. We were planning to send out invitations this next week, but that is obviously going to be put on hold for the time being. We've also worked with the GIS mapping system to compile all of the data on all of the CBD buildings and owners and how to contact all of them. That was quite an undertaking, and we're really excited to use that to build even better relationships with the property owners and get them all together in person. We conducted a survey of all the business owners to understand their needs and how we can best be of service to them at this point in time. Planning on doing something similar again in response to the COVID-19 and seeing what we can do there. They're all going to have a lot of hardships ahead of them as they navigate the waters through this. So I'd really appreciate any shopping local you guys plan to do. A lot of the businesses downtown have delivery options or takeout options, even some of the retail locations as well. We have a website launched that outlines those, that is updated daily if you're curious. And one of the most important things we've been doing through all of these committees is building relationships. We're getting to know a lot more people, learning more how we can help them, and what they might be interested in contributing to some of these committees as well. The fourth and final committee is promotions. My joke is if you see somebody walking downtown in an inflatable dinosaur suit, we probably had something to do with it. And it was probably this group. Promotions is one of our largest committees, and boy, have they been busy. We built a new website and transferred all of that data over, which did include a new directory. We launched a new brand, as I'm sure you've all noticed, and hired a part-time marketing coordinator. Her name is Teresa Bisa. I believe many of you will know her. So she is working on growing our Facebook and Instagram, sending out the monthly newsletters, and anything that deals with communication. Some of the things we're really excited about that she's been working on is a district-wide marketing plan, which we'll talk about a little bit more later. In addition to that, we have walking maps now on all of the ferries in collaboration with the Chamber. We've hosted a bunch of events that were very successful, and their largest yet, specifically the tree lighting and No Tricks Safe Treats. One of the things that was really a focus in my first few months with Main Street was updating the brand image and seeing if we could change the perception that some people might have about downtown. So I wanted to share some of the new photography we had with you. If you're looking for your packets, it's the next few slides. We really want to showcase downtown as an inviting place to go and shop and relax and visit with your friends, and planning on using some of this new photography to do that, showing people of different genders, all mixing in different ways throughout the downtown, whether that's having drinks with friends or walking along the water, having your kids explore the sculptures with you, some of the new artwork. And that's really what we'd like to portray moving forward, is a great walkable place along the water for families to come and enjoy. So some of the other things we're pretty proud of. We've had a business expansion that was able to take place because our office moved out of the mall. That is Whimsy's. They now are able to host art classes in there. There were 3 different buildings downtown that had significant improvements. You can see the picture of the Mailer building there, which is one of the oldest buildings downtown. And we've also had about 11 murals go up in the last 12 months. And that has really created some interest at a regional tourism level for all of us. And I will expect to see some more travel bloggers and people in that type of profession coming specifically for those murals. So that moves me up over to what's next. Progress for 2020. Some of these might change a little bit depending on how long we're having to stay concerned about COVID. That is the first one, and the most important one for me, is that strategic plan. We have hired National Main Street to come out to Oak Harbor and conduct surveys to help us build a 3 to 5 year strategic plan for our organization. That'll be taking place in July. We've already launched a district-wide marketing plan, and really the 2 focuses on that are communicating our message better to the Navy families in our community, and making sure that the Deception Pass tourists know that Oak Harbor is a place that they should consider stopping and spending a few hours or overnight or a weekend. We've had ads shown in the bowling alley on base, in the regional Navy magazines, and have placed Google advertisement over Deception Pass so that when you open your phone in Deception Pass, it should pop up with ads for Oak Harbor. So we're looking forward to being a little more creative there and continuing that. We have a new event calendar. We're looking to do things a little bit differently with that. You'll still see the tried and true events, but you'll also see some more quirky ones like our Third Thursdays that will all have a theme, and we'll try to get the merchants involved to put their own spin on that theme to make the night one that showcases everyone's personality downtown and encourages people to walk store to store to get the full experience. Some of those events might be changing. We'll communicate that with you guys as we need to. I feel the need to mention that the Easter egg hunt at this time is canceled, so we will not be doing that event this year, but plan to in the future. Another exciting project we're working on is an LED lighting project. This one is going to come in phases, but the first phase, we're going to do perimeter LED lighting on the exterior of buildings starting at dock and moving over towards pathway. This is going to be a big project with the potential to add some really cool ambiance year round. It is the type of lighting where I can change it from my phone. So if we want to have orange lighting for Halloween and green lighting for Christmas, we can do that as needed. And we're really excited to continue relationship building. We've gotten to do a lot the last few months, especially in partnership with a lot of different groups. You'll notice we've mentioned the chamber and your team at the city, and that's really what's allowing us to get so much done right now is all of that relationship building and collaboration. We don't want to duplicate services. We want to be a good community partner. Especially grateful for Blaine and all of his efforts in coordinating everything, and Ray, who's been working with us for months on the design review guidelines and the zoning. So we really like to continue that path that we're on, and we're pretty proud of what we've been doing so far, and I'm excited to see how 2020 goes. And if you guys have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them.
Thank you, Haley. So I'll ask council if they've got any questions at this time. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Matt has a comment.
Okay. Councilmember Matt.
Haley, I would just like to commend you for all your efforts on the Main Street. Sounds like you're doing a terrific job, and I love that exterior lighting concept. Sounds really cool. And
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Councilman Wiesner's got a comment?
Yes, Councilor Wiesner.
Thank you, Mayor. Haley, could you give us a little more inside update on the sign situation? I know you've been working on trying to get sign located down there on Highway 20. You had mentioned that in your presentation. How far out are we from seeing that accomplished?
I think it's hard to say a deadline with the current climate right now, but if you go and look at Beeksma Park, there is paint on the grass where it's going to go in. So we have made progress, and we know exactly where it's going to go. It's just a matter of if COVID is going to affect that timeline at all, which I expect it to.
Well, thanks for that. And you know, I want to echo some of Councilmember Mack's comments. You know, that project in particular has been one that, you know, we've been discussing, I think, downtown for several years now, and to see some of these projects and the mural project, you know, coming together is just fantastic to see. Keep up the good work. I know it's a little bit of an uphill climb, but you know, we're here to support you and you know, make it so that you can get to the end on those projects for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Wiesner. Anyone else? Okay. Thanks again. We will move then past the to the consent agenda at this time. And I believe we have under consent agenda items number A through J. And this would be a time if somebody wants to pull one off to speak about, otherwise they will be accepted as presented. Okay, hearing nothing there. We'll move on to mayor, council, and staff comments. Under mayor comments, I've got several things actually. Regarding COVID-19, today the city implemented a restricted access policy to the city hall offices due to the guidelines provided by our governor, our president, and the Island County Public Health Department. to slow the spread of COVID-19 and reduce the number of people affected, city leadership will continue to work hard to protect our community and ensure continuity of essential services while minimizing exposure to our residents and staff. Please note this information is subject to change as the situation develops.
Specifically, are some measures below City Hall will be closed at this time.
At this time, to the general public, residents may pay their bills online over the phone. We have a drop box outside of City Hall, or certainly by mail. Development services, legal department, public works, marina, engineering will be closed to the general public, but available by phone and email. Some services may require an appointment. Please call us. We'll certainly be in communication and set up appointments. Senior services will be closed to the general public. The staff is working to make programs available online where possible. Passport services will continue by appointment. So please give us a call for an appointment if you need a passport. Fire department and police department will continue under current operations. Phone numbers are posted on the city's website and the city's Facebook page. You can also call the city operator at 360-279-4500. You'll be directed to the specific department. I attended a county board of health meeting this afternoon as our regular monthly meeting in Coopville. Obviously that department has been extremely busy, and I think that certainly the counselors know that we get a daily report in the afternoon that keeps us up to date on numbers. They're certainly being careful as to where those confirmed cases are at this point in time, but they're keeping as good a track as they possibly can. They get a multitude of questions down there, and there are, pretty much our first source of contact, and doing a great job actually. And as of today, they had 13 confirmed cases in Island County, and 2 more that they weren't, that may get confirmed by the end of the day, actually, or could have been. That was the message I got at 3 o'clock this afternoon. So on this last Thursday, Mayor Pro Tem Munns, Councilor Servadius, and Council Member Eisen, along with NAS Would-Be Task Force Member Mac McDowell and myself, visited the Pentagon. Had several meetings with many of the folks that are extremely involved with NAS Whidbey Island and future and just what's going on in those different squadrons. In the several years that I've attended those meetings, I think this year's meeting was probably the best organized and best run day that I can remember having. So thanks to the Pentagon, we've got a great relationship with NAS Whidbey Island. Thanks to Mayor Pro Tem and the council members that attended to help make that happen. Finally, under my comments, I'd like to let you know that the mayor, certainly the other cities in the state of Washington, are concerned as the city of Oak Harbor is. You should have gotten something in the mail regarding Census 2020. I got online last night, and just as they suggest, that's a process that takes about 10 minutes online. It's very easy to do. It's very important that you complete your census. And the importance of that has to do with redistricting for the city of Oak Harbor, potentially, or certainly for the state of Washington. It has to do with monetary help that could come our way to get the best counts we can. So please make sure and complete your census information as requested. So with that, then I'll go to City Council at this time and ask if anyone has anything under comments. City Council.
Joel Servadius, just want to echo your comments, Mayor. Not only was it a productive meeting, but the tone, the future of NES, the tone coming from the Pentagon and the future of NES seemed very solid. So that's something that's good. I wish we were saying this in person to the crowd, but hopefully people will get the message that, you know, there was nothing really in those discussions that was anything but positive. So that was a good thing.
Thank you, Joel. I certainly agree. Councillor Heisen, are you with us yet? Is she? She is? Oh, okay. Welcome. Anyone else? Any City Council?
Councilman Mack, would like to make a comment?
Yes.
I would like to thank Mayor Pro Tem and Mayor Severance and two council members, Servadius and Heisen, for their extra effort with everything that's going on and going back to the Pentagon. And it's reassuring to me and my constituents that we've got a great relationship with our Navy. Thank you again.
Thank you, Councilor Mack. I appreciate it. Anyone else? Okay, we'll move then to City Administrator.
All right. All right. Going on to my second item here, just for council discussion. Just wanted to give the idea that if you wanted to go on to summer schedule for your meeting, which would mean you would cancel the second meeting of the month, which would be the next meeting will be April 21st. So I'm throwing out that option to you. If not, we can continue to do electronic meetings, and we will continue to do the next meeting on the workshop.
Having a hard time hearing you, I guess.
Yeah, Joel here. I can't hear anything.
Can't hear anything, so something's not working.
I think it's feedback between them two.
All right, I'll try again. Can you hear me?
How about that, Joel? Can you hear that?
Nope.
Talk again.
Mayor, I cannot hear either. Mayor Pro Tem cannot hear.
Okay, so I think in a nutshell, if the staff has recommended the possibility of going to summer schedule for this next month, but that would take a council, and if we were to go to summer schedule, that would mean we would have one city council meeting in April. And I think the plan was to have the first meeting and then not the second meeting in April at this time. But it'll take a council action to do that. But staff, I think, is recommending to do that. How's council?
Previous move to go to a summer schedule for the month of April.
Wassinger, Mayor second. Pro Tem, second.
Okay, so we've got a motion by Councilor Servadius and a second by Councilor Wassinger to go to summer schedule for the month of April for regular city council meetings.
Councilor
Any
Larson,
other?
a quick question. How does this affect workshops? Or we canceling those? How does that work?
and adapting to COVID-19 measures. I think that things have been changing daily, and staff's done an excellent job of doing that. We just covered the other item here, the council changes for summer. And then I want to welcome our new PIO, just started on Monday in this chaos, and she's already been a really great asset in us and responding to the COVID, and brings experience in the city of Brockville that's been very beneficial to the city. So we certainly welcome her and welcome her efforts, and you should already see some improvements in some of our social media. So just very experienced person, and we welcome her on board, city staff. And then last of all, the city's in process of moving the date of the marathon. So we're working on finalizing a date. Hopefully we'll announce that tomorrow. So that concludes my remarks. Thank you for your patience and getting through these technical difficulties.
Everybody hear that all right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
What was the name of the new employee? I did not catch that.
Sabrina
Sabrina
Combs.
Combs.
Yeah, COMBS. As Blaine said, she started Monday, and amid some confusing, things going on here at City Hall, and attended our meeting yesterday. Department head, well, I think was in both meetings that we've had last couple of days, and so definitely has hit the ground running. Okay, we will move on now to item number 6A on the agenda. And item number 6A is Resolution 2006, adopting the 2020 Stormwater Comprehensive Plan. And I think we have, I know we have our Public Works Director, Kathy Rosen, and our City Engineer, Jim Bridges, here for this. Yes.
Okay, Mayor, we're going to ask that you continue this item to the April 7th regular city council meeting, and then we postpone the presentation until then. So you would open the public hearing and then continue it. So we would need a motion to open the public hearing and continue the public hearing to the April 7th city council meeting.
Everybody hear that? City Council?
Mayor
So
Pro
we're-
Tem,
Yeah.
I would like to move that we continue the public hearing until the April 7th meeting. Bossinger, second.
So we got a motion and a second to continue the public hearing for Resolution 2006, adopting the 2020 Stormwater Comprehensive Plan to our first meeting in April. Any other questions or input? All in favor, say aye.
Mac, aye.
Larson, aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. Then we will move on to item number 7A, Resolution 2008, updating the master fee schedule, Marina Finance and Senior Services. And that, I believe, is Legal Department. Nikki Thompson.
Thank you, Mayor.
Welcome, Nikki.
Thank you. Preliminarily, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes,
Okay. Wonderful.
sounding good.
Perfect. So Resolution 2008 updates 3 sections of our master fee schedule. It updates Schedule B, which is the finance schedule. This amendment was in part requested by council. One of the changes allows for a waiver of late fees once every 5 years. Another of the changes increases the water shutoff fee from $10 to $40 and then deletes some extra provisions which are no longer applicable. Schedule D, which is the marina schedule, is the annual amendment to the rate. And Addendum 2, Senior Services, is being amended to update fee schedules for classes and incorporate the fees that are charged for facility use. I'm happy to take any questions, but this is really just a housekeeping type amendment.
Joel here. I move to approve resolution number 20-08 as presented.
Larson, second.
Wassinger.
Going to give that second to Larson. Councilor Larson. Any other?
Are you there, Mayor?
Yes. Uh-oh, not hearing me. Just a moment.
Sounds like we lost the mayor.
Oh, no.
Hold on.
He's just on mute.
We'll get her back.
Mayor, you need to unmute your mic.
Please stand by.
I'd like to blame somebody else.
Technical difficulties, and I can relate with that. So.
Is that good?
Is that good?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you might need to get me back where I was, Lisa. Okay, so I think we have a motion. We have a motion and a second, don't we, at this point in time? Motion and second to approve resolution number 20-08 as presented. And it's on the motion and the second, right, Carla? You didn't hear who, okay, I think the motion was Councilor Servadius, and I gave the second to Councilor Larson. Okay?
Correct.
Any other questions or input from council? If not, all in favor say aye.
Wassinger, aye.
Munns, aye.
Mac, aye.
Servadius, aye.
Larson, aye.
Wiesner, aye.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. So thank you again for your patience here. We will now move on to item number 8A, which is authorization. Let me see. The recommendation authorization to award waterfront pedestrian improvement project, and we have our Public Works Director and City Engineer, Kathy Rosen, our Public Works Director, City Engineer, Jim Bridges, with us.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Hope everybody can hear me okay. So this project involves two elements of work that we had requested that the City Council approve last year. The two projects are, we combined into one, was the sidewalk at City Beach, just at the entrance of Windjammer Park. And the second project is the mid-block crossing at Bayshore Drive. We received 4 bids on this project. The low bid we received was from PNW Civil Incorporated for $122,463.75. And the high bid we received was $192,360. We also received a 5th bid that came in 2 minutes after the bid closing, and we rejected it, but I posted it in the agenda bill for as public disclosure. Our engineer's estimate for this project was $151,094.06. All the bids include sales tax of 8.7%, as well as a bid item of up to $20,000 for minor changes, should those be needed to complete the project. And it is our recommendation that council and the mayor accept this bid and award it so that we can start this project. I will stand for questions. And I've got a slide presentation here too.
Mayor, Joel here. I don't know if caller 1 is in council chambers, but there's a lot of feedback. If there's a way to mute whoever C1 is on the whatever you call this, the board, the go-to meeting board. If we can just have one person, especially if you're all in the same room, everyone else be muted. It's hard to hear on my end.
Okay, would you like for Mr. Bridges to repeat?
No, I think, I mean, I've got it here in the packet and I can see the numbers. I'll support it. It's just, if we move forward, if there's a way for someone just to mute everyone else except for the person talking if you're all in the same room, because I think it's creating feedback.
Okay, I hear what you're saying, and I think I have been leading to part of that, but Lisa's trying to help me. So did you hear Councilor Servadius? He doesn't need it repeated. Thank you, Jim. I just said that it would eliminate feedback if you would mute your machine, your microphone. Okay, so the recommended action is motion to authorize the mayor to sign the construction contract with PNW Civil Inc. for the waterfront pedestrian improvement project, the amount of $122,463.75, and authorize city engineer to add up to 21 contract days in total as may be necessary. Any questions or input? If not, we would entertain a motion.
Mayor, this is Councilmember Larson. I just wanted to say to Jim, it's encouraging to see that we're getting more bids as we're putting these items out for bid. It's also encouraging to see that we had two of those, actually three, come in underneath the engineer's estimate, which we've had some problems with before. So I'm going to support this, and I'm going to support that we move ahead as quickly as possible so costs don't jump. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Anyone else? Okay. You want to put that in the form of a motion, Councilor Larson?
Yes, I would be happy to, Mayor. I make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the construction contract with PNW Civil Incorporated as presented.
Mac would second that.
Okay, so we've got a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign the construction contract with PNW Civil Inc. as presented and in your council packet. Any other input or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Larson, aye.
Mac, aye.
So, not hearing anybody else. Maybe they're muted. Any opposed? I think maybe we muted. So I heard.
I'm not. I don't know. You can't hear me.
Is this Councilor Wassinger?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, good. Sorry, you couldn't there for a minute. I was trying to interject. I apologize.
Okay, no problem. Do you have some questions or input or?
No, yes, I just wanted to say thank you, and I think this is a great project for downtown. I know a lot of kids use the ball fields and walk across the street and up to Pioneer. I think it's a great project, so I will support it.
Great.
I don't know. I couldn't quite follow if there was a motion yet or a second, but I will support it.
Then we're going to take that as a yes. So we do have a motion and a second, and that's a yes.
Yes,
how about Mayor Pro Tem, Councilor Wiesner? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Any opposed? Okay, I think we're going to accept that as a unanimous vote on item number 8A. So we'll move on to item number 8B then at this time. This is a, let me see, 8B, professional service agreement with the Oak Harbor Main Street Association Business and Occupation Tax Contribution. So I see that this is Blaine Oborn, okay?
All right, Mayor, hopefully we're improving our hearing right now. I appreciate the presentation earlier by the Oak Harbor Main Street Association. That really helps us to know what services they provide and their effort in revitalizing the downtown. In 2015, the City Council adopted a resolution establishing the protocols and participating in the Main Street program. As part of that, we have a professional service agreement for the budgeted amount and obligates the Main Street to fulfill their mission as the deliverable in the professional service agreement. And with a quick response, I think the last thing I'd like to do is go ahead and ask if the council has a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the professional service agreement with Oak Harbor Main Street Association for the business and occupation tax contribution.
Okay, council, any questions or input or motions? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, Councilmember Wassinger.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the professional services agreement with Oak Harbor Main Street Association for the business and occupation tax contribution.
Larson, second.
Okay, so we do have a motion second, Councilor Wassinger, and second by Councilor Larson. Recommended action exactly like it reads in the packet. Any other input or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Wassinger, aye.
Wiesner, aye.
Okay, Wiesner.
Mac, aye.
Okay.
Servadius, aye.
Servadius. Any opposed? I think that's unanimous. Okay, thank you very much. That passes unanimously. We will move on. I think this is our last item for this evening. Item number 8C, professional service agreement with Simrao Engineering and Surveying, on-call public works development review, amendment number 5. We have, again, our city engineer, Jim Bridges, and Kathy Rosen, our public works administrator. So, Mr. Bridges.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the fifth amendment to the contract that began in April of 2018. We're asking for an increase of $100,000 to continue services with John Simrao and his company to provide development review services. John has a vast amount of knowledge and experience in development. He does an excellent job in performing his reviews. And we just asked that the mayor and the council approve this going forward to an increase of $100,000. He spent about $6,600 a month in services to the city. And right now he's probably less than $3,000 to go before his contract expires. So with that, I can stand for questions.
Okay. Any questions from council?
Councilor Wiesner has a question.
Councilor Wiesner, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Jim, so the increase to $260,000, the $100,000 increase, how far do you think that's going to take us? Is it going to get us through the end of the year or into next year? What are you thinking?
Well, yeah, the contract as presented is to expire December 31st of this year. It's really hard to tell. We're up to speed on all of our reviews right now. We are expecting 2 larger reviews to come through, but those projects have been in review for several years now on one of them. And so I don't expect that to be that high of an item. In December, he had about $40,000 left, and so we're now about 4 months past that, and so we still have about $4,000. So I think you can see that we're he does a good job of not wanting to overcharge. He's very conscientious about this. and he's very conscientious about his work effort. So I do believe it will last through the end of the year. And, you know, I think budget time comes around, we'll be talking about potentially bringing that service back in-house with a development review engineer in-house.
It looks like we hired him at 1st January 2018, so that means we're 25, actually 27 months in with him, and I assume the 160,000, which you said we have about 3,000 left, which means we spent about 157,000 over the last 27 months. Am I reading that all right?
Yeah, his first billing we didn't receive until April of 2018.
Yeah. Okay, so that's more realistically 23 months of service that he's provided so far to date.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
Anyone else? Any questions?
Yes, Mayor, I had this is Councilman Larson. I've got a quick question. I'm looking at the breakdown of these costs, and what I'm looking at here is page 581 of our packet. And when you add up all the Gary Oaks line items, we're looking at over $42,000 in costs. That just seems pretty high compared to all the other projects that we have out there. Is there an end coming to that? And can we talk to why that is such a big chunk of this contract?
Well, I can't speak to when that contract, to when that project review will be complete. Gary Oaks has had some issues in developing plans, in our review comments and resubmittal of plans. And so we are hopeful it comes to an end soon. We have issued the permit for clearing on the property, and we are expecting civil plans to be reviewed here shortly.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes,
may I ask Mr. Bridges a question, please?
sure. Is this Mayor
Mayor
Pro
Pro
Tem?
Tem.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Bridges, I know that staff has done some extra work in trying to help this Gary Oaks project. Is there a way we can recoup some of staff's time? Because it's been a difficult project trying to get all the permitting done correctly?
Well, I believe that there's provisions in our municipal code for charging for services, but perhaps Mr. Powers might want to respond, or Ms. Rosen. So.
Mayor, members of the council, Steve Powers here. Mr. Bridges is correct that there are provisions for charging for staff review of the civil plans. And I'm going to sort of go out on a limb here and say that when we get to those plans, that perhaps we could pass along those costs that we're experiencing from Mr. Semrau directly to the applicant. I'd want to verify that with the legal department before we proceeded. Most of our other permit fees or plan review fees are set up in a fashion that they pay the fee, and we're supposed to try to accomplish that work in 2 reviews. That's not happened in this particular project, given some of the complexities and the challenges that Mr. Bridges referred to earlier. But as we said, as Jim said, that they just had the clearing plan approved. We're expecting civil plans here, I would imagine, in the very near future. And I think we can explore whether the existing code provision gives us the opportunity to pass along those costs that we get from Mr. Semrau directly to the applicants for Gary Oaks.
Thank you, Mr. Powers. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Mayor, this is Mayor Pro Tem. I'll make the motion if we're ready for it.
I think we are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yes, go ahead.
I move we authorize the mayor to sign professional service agreement amendment number 4 with CN Engineering and Surveying to review engineering and survey design on a on-call basis, increasing the contract amount by $100,000, increasing the total previously amended cost to not exceed $160,000 to not exceed $260,000, approving the consultant for 2020 fee schedule.
Okay, so the motion, I think you read amendment number. You said amendment number 4, but it is
Number
amendment
5.
Number 5. Correct. Okay, good.
Surveyor,
so-
second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second, and it reads exactly like the recommended action in the packet. Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Munns and second by Councilor Servadius. Any other input or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Ostinger, aye.
Surveyor, aye.
Reasoner, aye.
Mine's aye.
Mac, aye.
Okay, I think that's, any opposed? Okay, that passes unanimously. So that completes what I think was the first time that we've had a city council meeting that we had council telecommuting into this meeting, and I can't thank you enough for your patience. I know it hasn't been easy for you. It's strange for me to look out and see our people sitting 10 feet apart and spread out in the room. It's an interesting time, a difficult time for a lot of people. And, you know, the thing that impresses me the most about this fine city that we live in is that we have people that pull together, work together, and work for the right reasons to make things happen. And so, again, my hat is off to you. Thank you very much. Thanks to those in the public that are tuned in, trying to follow this meeting. Hopefully, it'll get easier as we move forward. We'll have a better understanding as we move along about how to do these sorts of things. But with that said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn at this time.
Surveyor, I move to adjourn.
Ostinger, second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Surveyor,
Aye.
Well, thank you.
Mac, aye.
It passes unanimously again, and thanks to staff, and special thanks to staff for your hard efforts. Okay.
Thank you,
with that,
Lisa.
we're adjourned.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.